So in today's video, we're going to be recreating this site, this beautiful site that I've seen. So we're just going to deal with the hero section now. This is how it looks for us. Obviously, we've changed the background image. Other than that, it's very similar. Difference. So yeah, stay tuned. Let's get to work. Okay, so first things first. We're going to create our Next.js project in call it npx. Let's call it Mersal. Cool, so now we've opened up our website. Cool, so now we've opened up our project. Let's get started. So first things first, install some dependencies. So what are we going to need first? So for the animations, for the text animation, we're going to use frame motion. So let me just do PMI frame motion. I think that's the only dependency we need for now. So what we're going to do first is we're going to recreate this desktop image. And what I'm going to do for that is use Adobe Firefly. Try this again. We need to stop wasting time on this. Just a quick clean up. So let's make the main page now. Let's create a mod for the components. Create the navbar first. Just run that development server. Okay, so let's get started. So let's make the logo first. Let's just get some padding actually first. APX about 10. Padding is 20. Too much. Okay, so let's make the logo quickly. Lex of row. Justify between as well. So this will be the logo container. This will be the button as well. So, get the logo container. Make another div within this. So the div is make some text. It's a bit big. Next. That was a bit large. I'm very particular with these things, which can be a bit annoying sometimes, but what can I say? It look like it's much on top of one. Bridges. I'm just going to get this B tags. Usually I'll do a list, but I think for now. Let's make sure these are aligned as well. Good now? We add a bit of a larger gap. Now we can do the call to action button. Let's add a P tag in here. Copy this. Cancel it. That's great. Cool. Now we need to create the parallax for the background. So because obviously we can't change the colors of the navbar because it's on a white background now, so it's not going to stand out because obviously we need to change the text to white. So now that we've got the navbar made, let's focus on making the little parallax background. Okay. So first is creative on the navbar. Let's give that a class name of width full, height screen, call it BG fixed, BG cover maybe, that's why. The flex. It's got something to background dash. Oh, that's why. There we go. So can't really see the parallax now, but just add a div underneath it. Height of the screen. Should be able to see, as you can see now, parallax effects, full foil. Cool. So now let's go back to the navbar so we can get scrolling. So what we need to do is to make the scroll first. We actually need to create a custom hook. So let's create a new folder called hooks. And in this, create a file called use scroll position .tsx. And inside hooks you can actually import other React hooks. So for example, I can import use state and use effect, which I'm going to need. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm going to, so you see how here the background changes on scroll, so it's a sticky navbar, the background changes on scroll. So for that you need to actually identify the scroll position, and for that we need to create a hook. So I'll call this export const use scroll position. We can add some state, so we'll call the scroll position. And then set scroll position. I know how to do this because I've used this previously in one of my websites, something similar, so I'll show you. You need to do now is create a use effect. We need to create a function that's called update position. Which we're basically going to set scroll position to window scroll on Y. So window what this does is it checks scrolls on the y-axis. So we're setting scroll position to whatever the number is. So for example, if you scroll down 20 pixels, this will change to 20 pixels. 200 pixels, the same. So that does that. And then we need to add an event listener for scroll. That scroll, so this just checks for scrolls. Then we want to update. We want to call update position every time. We want to call this function every time we scroll, and this event listener checks for scrolls. Then we want to run the function, which sets the initial position to 0. And then let's just add a cleanup function. Once that is fit, we can just return. So then we were told this scroll position. So anytime this changes, it gets updated here, it gets set there, and then we return it. So initially it's going to be 0, so initially we're going to return 0. Anytime it changes, this gets updated, and then we'll return that number. So let's import that into our nav bar. Okay, we can import this now. The next step is we need to actually run this function. So we need to run this function every time the page is called. Every time the page is scrolled, sorry. So to do that, we're going to create a variable called scroll position, which will store the data basically. So it will actually store the number. I think I can show you. So if I console log scroll position, it's a bit wide. As you can see, the number changes. So when you go right those up is 0. When we scroll, the number changes again, 0. That's what scroll position does. So now we need to create a function where we can add different class names to this nav. Now what we need to do is we need to add these class names. We need to add this class name here to ensure that we can add different ones. What we're going to do is this class name is going to equal class names. No, sorry. Inside the curly brackets. Then wraps around this. Cool. And now what we need to do is we need to add a conditional. I'm going to say if scroll position is greater than 20, make the background, for now we'll just make the background transparent, make the BG white, let's make the background white, sorry. Otherwise, make the background transparent. forgot to add this. So as you can see there, it's initially set to transparent. Once you scroll, it changes to white. What we actually need is we need this gloss morphism effect. That's what we need it to change to. And then it actually changes to white again. We actually need to measure the pixels. So initially, if it's probably up to 400, so whatever size of the screen, we're going to have to make it. It's always gloss morphism, to be honest. So as soon as it scrolls, we're going to make it gloss morphic. But here, obviously right now, I've just got to set it to white. Also, let's change the initial colors here to white so they can actually be. Sweet. And actually set it here, so text black to here as well. So I'll set all the text to black. Let's make the text white. So now that we've got the nav bar almost finished, we need to just add the gloss morphism effect. So to do that, I found this pretty cool website, and he literally just gives you the code. So I just typed in gloss morphism background tailwind, and that's the first one that came up. So we're not going to copy all of it. So what we need is this background gray font. I'll just copy it. Just that. You can just copy that into here where it says background white. Just copy that into here. That's good. As you can see, scroll, you have the little gloss morphism effect. Great. However, the problem we're having is the text change is not doing us that well. We can just leave all the text, or we can say text. Text as well. And we'll change that later. Just leave it. Okay, looks good. So now we'll just go right over to creating this header section. So let's close this one. First, let's try and find this font actually. So, Google fonts. Just copy this in. Found the font. I know it's not exactly the same, but we're going to go for Archivo. So what we need to do is we need to head over to app.tsx file. We need to import Next/Google/font. Oops, it's just Next.font, not Google, sorry. Then what we need to do is create the font, so I'll just call it, just give it small a, equals, and this is where we add the different font weights. So for subsets, just write Latin, and then for the weights we can add an array of different weights. And then we just surround this component. Close it. Now all our fonts have changed, which I think is quite good. Let's give these middle parts of the number. That's good. It's good to me. Maybe a little bit padding. So now okay, so let's now create the text. So within this div, make sure let's run this in a div actually. I have no idea what this says. I think it's Swedish, I'm not sure. Let's come right to the top. I was thinking let's do item center. Center. Center, we don't actually need that. Let's give this a padding of 16 as well. Font's a bit tight. Let's make all this. Cool. Now let's make p tag. Some more. Good. A bit of gapping between these. Then that's not right. Increases that index to make the class more. Jesus, 200. That's great so far. Add the buttons. To do that, which I did another div. Property of flex row. We can make the buttons. Okay, bring come. So, all the buttons now. Button. the same class morphism effects. Border as well, isn't it? Yeah, text a bit smaller. That's great. One more effect there. Smooth. Position. This button has the same class morphic effect. It's coming along nicely. Very nice. Very happy with that so far. Change this back to 200 as well. Brilliant. Maybe we can give the buttons a bit more padding. Brilliant. I think it looks pretty similar. And the text might be. Actually. And the yellow could be a bit yellow. 300. Yeah, 300 is good. Cool. Now, for the last part of the video, we're just going to do this little bar at the end. Okay, so the last part of the hero section is we've got to add this part here. But to do that, I've got a little trick which I use, which is a justified between trick. So what happens here is I just create an empty div. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is best practice, but it always works for me. Add an empty div there. So what that does, what justified between does, is it separates the page, so it splits the page up independent of how many elements there are. So that's the first one. So now, as you can see, the top element's gone there and the bottom one's gone here. That's the top element and this one, bottom one. I'll do that. I'll add a third one. I'll add a third element here. What will happen is, Bob's your uncle. It goes straight in the middle, so I can just say. This div. So with the full order team. individual. Let's give this justify between as well. So we can put both on both sides. Give this a flex property. Justify between. Give item center. What we'll do now is we'll create each of the individual. We'll surround all of this in a div. So in this div, we need to create some more divs. So we'll create 3. Create the first one first. So it's got a p tag. It's got another p tag, and it's got some stars. Not sure I'm gonna get stars like that, but do my best. They're quite unique stars. If they're SVGs, I might be able to go for them. Nope. Let's see. Nope. Oh, I can actually use that same background image. I'll have to consider it. Actually, no, I think this one's fine. But so first let's just copy. To React icons. Install this. At the same one, but this one will do. Just import that. Server again. With this, let's just import that. Let's give it a class name of flex to keep everything. This is for the outer div, so for the keep all of them next to each other. That gap of 6 should be fine. Might be a bit wide, but we can give this a flex of class of flex as well. Give it a flex color. Give it a gap of 2. This one. Gap 6 is a bit large. Do 4. I think the top one was the grey one, yeah, correct. I think I actually need a gap there to be flexy. And then with this one, we'll give it a flex name of class. I mean class name of flex row. Add a gap. Item centered. Give this. That's a good thing about React icons, you can just add class name straight away. Just do text. Yeah, looks great. I think maybe we can add a bit of maybe margin top to this one. good, looking good. Or a little bit darker, actually. Copy this. Now the last thing is these icons, which might be annoying to do because I don't have the images. Maybe I'll just get some random companies. Okay, so for the final part, we just need to make this logo row. So let's do that now. So I've got the row here. Just give it some classes. Give it a flex of row. Give it a gap of 3. Import the different icons. This is the next image tag. So let's create next image tag. Let's just add a SLC. Let's import the images. Sorry. Tag icon. Copy this. Okay, so what I've basically done is I just changed the icons because the ones I got the quality was quite bad, so I just changed them up. I just added whip 16 and high auto to all of them. There you have it. There's the hero part. Okay, so there's one thing that we forgot to do, which is this little animation when it loads in. So we can do that using frame of motion. So what we need to do is import motion from Framer. Wrap. Or change these elements to motion elements. We do that. It's just literally type in motion. Which one? Then you can give it some properties. The properties will give it the initial. But the initial will mean what the state is before it loads in. You can just say equals opacity 0, y 10. That gives you the initial state. And you can draw animate, which is the animation. Which is the opacity will become 1. Y becomes 0. If you refresh this, it's behind me to change the speed. So we type in transition. is for the transition, so I can give it a delay of 0.1, 0.2, should I say, ratio, 0.5, let's say. And obviously tweak this, even the ease for to me. Do the same with our two. Just give them a bit of a delay as well. The exact same. Just give it a bit of delay as well. So, 4. So, I don't know if this needs a Y axis. See how that looks. Ooh, I like that. See, I think now we have it. Oh, I think there was also one on the map that just fades in. Copy this. 2. Oh. And that temple was so important. The gap. I'm really happy with that. After that, we'll get to this part in the next video. Thanks fellas. Cheers guys.